All right, we are live. I'm so excited for this one. So today's live is going to be all about AI overviews, SEO rankings, what Google actually has to say about it all. Okay, so I feel like that's half of the battle with like being an SEO person sometimes. And as we know, SEO is not only related to Google. SEO predates Google. I know that us SEO people, we like to talk about Google most of the time because they do own the biggest market share. But it's going to be really interesting. Today's guest, we're going to bring on Tomiko Harvey. She attended the 2025 Google Creator Summit in Washington, D.C. She was able to have real life, intimate conversations with the Google search team, which a lot of us SEO people don't actually get the opportunity to do that. And Tomiko is in a very specific situation here where she ended up losing 98% of her Google search traffic. And so she was in a really unique position to ask the hard questions for Google search team. So I don't want to give away too many things. You're going to have to stay. You're going to have to enjoy the live here as we dive in and get into it. But before I bring Tomiko on stage, we do want to talk about the live sponsor for today's conversation. So it's MemberVault, baby. So MemberVault is a course membership and digital product platform. I actually started moving all of my stuff over from Kajabi to MemberVault recently. I started testing around with the platform. I really did fall in love with it. And it's one of those platforms that's so damn flexible when it comes to being an incredible option for you to host your products online. So I have a specific page that I created on my website because I don't want to spend 45 minutes gassing up MemberVault here. But if you want to learn more about the platform, if you want to learn more about the features and everything that they have, so online courses, membership summits, bundles, digital downloads, all of this stuff, with every one of their options, you get an affiliate program. Like, you have the opportunity to have an affiliate program, even if you choose their smallest plan, which I don't know if y'all have like messed around with any of the other digital product hosting platforms, but not a lot of them do that. I was going to have to upgrade my Kajabi plan to $200 a month in order to be able to have my own affiliate program. MemberVault, on the other hand, allows you to have an affiliate program on their cheapest plan. Okay, so this page is going to be available in the video description box below. You can learn about my experience moving from Kajabi over to MemberVault. You can see my MemberVault in action. You can see the pricing, get all of the details, all of the cons. I like to be honest about the tools and the options that I use. So you can learn more about all of that at mariahmagazine.com/MV25. So I also have a cute little banner here. How cute. Okay, so you want to learn more about the sponsor of this YouTube live, go to mariahmagazine.com/MV25. Learn about MemberVault, know them, love them, use them. Okay, so now it is time to bring Tomiko on stage. We're coming. What's up, girl? I'm so excited.
Hello. I'm excited to be here too. I am ready to get into it and spill the beans.
Spill the beans. And it's funny because when me and Tomiko hopped on, I was like, the universe is aligning because we have the same hairstyle. It is Space Buns Central here for YouTube Live. We did not plan this, but you know that we are meant to have a conversation today. And so I'm excited to dive in. Tomiko, can you just, I think first off, what would be really helpful, can you just give us an overview about like, how did you even get invited to the Google Summit? Like, what was happening? How did you get into SEO? Like, what's going on?
So I'm a travel influencer, 50 plus travel influencer. And, I got into SEO because I was tired of running after brands and having brand deals. People that are within the travel space know that most influencers make their money via brand deals. And I was like, okay, I don't want to have to be having a million deliverables. How else can I have another second stream of income. And so hence came learning SEO and trying to get into an ad network such as MediaVine. So that's how I got started self-learning. I'm self-taught SEO, and that's how I got into SEO. And then hence came getting into MediaVine, making thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a month from my blog, Passports and Grub. And so from there, I got invited. So Google reached out to me a month prior to Google Summit, asking me, they wanted to feature me on their website as content creator of the quarter, because of my work that I do with SEO and within the travel space. And I was like, oh my God, Google wants to feature me. Yes, I would love to be featured. So had the interview with them, and then I guess they loved it so much after I had that interview on, I think it was a Friday. That Monday, they sent me an email and said, hey, we're having this Google Summit in DC. We would love for you to come to be a part of it, to meet with our search team. And when I was even there, we all sort of, posed a question, how did we all get chosen? Because it was 2 travel influencers and it was 5 food creators, a recipe.
Interesting. Okay.
So they said that it was based on the traffic that had been lost. It was based on recommendations from other people within the industry. Mm-hmm. There was no rhyme or reason why each of us, there were diverse people. So, which I really thought there was a Latina lady, there was me, there was an Asian chick there. So it was a diverse background of people. So I was really thankful of that. It just wasn't a room full of like white males.
In the SEO industry, that would have been very typical.
That would have been very typical, but they did a great job of making sure that the room was representative of where we are in the world today.
Okay, cool. So that's incredible. Can you give us some insight into like your traffic loss? Like, I know that you were getting a ton of traffic from Google search. What happened?
So I got smashed in the August, August of 20, what's this year? 2023?
Yeah.
That big one.
Yeah,
so I was making around $13,000 a month from MediaVine. So I woke up that August morning and I look at my Google Analytics every single morning. That's the first thing I do before I even get my eyes open good. And I open up Google Analytics and it is like, everything is like 0. Like I'm ranking 100 on everything. And I'm like, okay, this must be some kind of error. This could not possibly be correct. And so then found out Google had to update. So the way ad networks work is that you're paid, I think it's on a 45-day, whatever. So September came, I still had like my regular income. October came and it went down to maybe like 9. December came, it was like 3. January came, it was like 800. And then from there, it had been roughly about $200 a month since January of 2024.
When you're used to making thousands of dollars. Wow.
And I was just about to quit my day job. I had scheduled, I was like, right now I'm making enough money that I don't need my day job anymore. And so I was supposed to resign January of 2024 is when I was set to resign at the end of the year. And thank God that I didn't, because it would have been like devastating. And it has just been, I, along with everyone else, have done all of the things that, we were told that it was, you had too many ads on your website. So that's why it was a decline in traffic, keyword stuffing, which people, and I will say that they immediately said off the bat that we told not just creators, but people in general that our audience want long form content. They want the keyword in the first sentence, in the H2 header, in the H3 header. They said, yes, we told people that this is what you need to do to rank.
Yep.
And so all of us, myself included,
Yep.
followed this little template,
checklist,
this little checklist of what you need to do to rank. And it worked for years.
Yep.
And they said, then the way people search changed. People no longer want to read 3, 4, 5,000 word articles in order to find out what they're looking for. And they then said, so we have to change what our requirements are for ranking on Google, because our people are telling us they don't want that. They don't want to have to read 2,000 words in order to get the answer to their query.
Yep.
And if we're honest, myself included, it was a lot of fluff.
Yeah.
Because Google said long form content rules. It is king. So I was even talking about one of my blog posts that is about safety in Mexico. And I had like 2-3 paragraphs on, is the freaking water safe in Mexico? Like, I use myself as an example. If I'm being honest, that was fluff. There's no rhyme reason that there needs to be more than a sentence on, is the water safe in Mexico? But because Google, I was trying to have long content, I'm writing all of this fluffy content, trying to make the article longer than what it needed to be, because Google said long form content rules.
Yeah. Yep. And it's so interesting because it's like when AI overviews came out, everybody was freaking out because we're used to, and I will say for context for our viewers, I come from a business perspective in terms of SEO. So like I help business owner clients, people that are selling services and products online or locally. And so my clients, most of the time, some of them aren't blogging. Some of them maybe have a couple blogs, or like they heard that Google needs fresh content. So they were blogging just to blog. And then they've even heard these things where it's like, you're really coming from that blogger first perspective where a lot of your money was being made through Mediavine, which was kind of like an ad network. And I'm sure that all of our viewers have been on Google, they've looked for a recipe, and I'm sure that they've seen like the ad pop-ups. And it's like, that's how a lot of bloggers were making a huge chunk of their income from all of this. And so, yes, that is what Google told us over and over again, even for like clients. They were like, okay, well, Mariah, if I'm trying to hit the keyword, like how much does a wedding photographer make? It's like, girl, I could answer that in like 3 paragraphs. Like, and then it's like, well, Google likes long form content. And so for a while it was kind of like, well, how do we beef this up a little bit and mainly focus on like what Google wants? But if we've been paying attention and if we're kind of honest with what we've been noticing, it kind of all comes down to the keyword. Sometimes I do want a full in-depth article. I want you to go into every nook and cranny because I am in research mode. But in other ways, the example that I like to give my audience is like, I, for the life of me, can never remember how long it takes to boil an egg. And so if I'm going to Google and I'm typing in how long to boil an egg, I don't really want to know where you got your eggs from. I don't really care about the farmer's market and how much you love it. I don't really care about your egg salad recipe. Respectfully, it's nothing personal, but I really, truly just want to know, like, how long does it take to boil an egg? And so for these quick hit informational things, the old way that Google was operating, in my opinion, was archaic. I don't want to have to search through all of this. And so people would be upset because they're like, well, I'm losing out on traffic. And so I'm losing out on conversions. And to me, I'm like, girl, I was never going to sign up for your recipe ebook.
Anyway,
I was not there to convert.
Right. And they talk specifically to recipe bloggers. They said for years, as you just said, and we've all seen it, people complaining that I just want the recipe. And every recipe blogger I know said, I am spending money going to the grocery store, getting the groceries, putting this recipe together, making sure it tastes good. The very least you could do is read through all of this so that I can get paid. Everyone I know said that. They said, I don't care that you don't like the ads and you don't like the pop-ups. You're going to get them anyway. Everyone I know said that. And Google was right when they said people have been complaining for years and years and years that they don't care about your grandmama having to walk 5 miles in 1928 to get these berries that were only made in that only like raised in this one part of the country. And that's how you became to love this recipe. Nobody cares about your grandmama. We are instant gratification people now. Time is gone where people care about stories. Nobody cares about your story. Nobody cares that me and my husband.
I think it depends on the context. It depends on the context of what you're searching for. I feel like if you're looking to hire a public speaking coach, for instance, I care about the context of like, do you know what the heck you're talking about? What are your credentials? Show me your authority.
Yes.
But like, if we're like, you're saying like the example where we're sticking with like recipe bloggers or travel or things like that, it's like, it depends on the story. Does the story support me, the user, and do I know you enough at this point to care about the story?
Right. And I think that is even like I write about my husband and I, we went to Amalfi Coast for our honeymoon. And I have like 7 articles on Amalfi Coast. Nobody cares that that is where I went on my honeymoon. And so, yes, you can sprinkle some personal things in there, but we now have moved from, unless it is something directly related to your abilities as a professional and as a person and as your business, nobody cares about the story. Now, if I am trying to figure out if you are a great therapist, if I'm looking for a therapist and I want to know your story to figure out if what you believe in and the way you what you believe in as a therapist, if it aligns with my values, then that's something I want to read about.
And I wanted to say it on your about page. I want it to be weaved into like these blog posts. Like that's why I feel like, especially in this new age, like with AI and all of that, context matters so much. User intent, understanding, and like me and you were going off about this before we hit record, but like understanding how SEO works and why your people are searching for this. This is how we figure it out. It's no longer the checklist of gotta hit this, gotta hit that. You have to know who you serve and how you help people.
And they were very clear too that with search now, it is you have, if your audience, if your businesses are not utilizing social media in a way that it is educational. Google was very clear that it is no longer about blog posts. It is about social branding at this point. You need to have, your business needs to be on TikTok. Your business needs to be on Instagram. When people are searching Google now, they are searching for social media. They want to find something that correlates with social media. They want an Instagram reel. They want a TikTok. That's why social media is now ranking on Google for specific keywords and phrases. And so if the business that you have, if you are not tying in social, then you're missing a pivotal role. They were very clear that social branding is a huge part of SEO now.
Yep. And I think I heard somebody mention that it's a lot of it is like brand authority now. It's not so much like domain authority, because like domain authority is kind of, it's still one piece of the puzzle. It's like one piece that we can figure out how authoritative is a site. Are they getting backlinks? Do people like them? All of that. Domain authority isn't dropping out completely, but domain authority used to be like one of the key top dog things. And now Google has to evolve, AI has to evolve with it. And now it's more about brand authority. And so it's like, are you getting found on social? And this doesn't mean that like you have to be, because like as a small business owner, you're listening to this and you're like,
oh my God,
it's over for me. Like,
It's only me. I have a team of 3. I can't be on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. I can't be in all of these places at one time. But that is your brand. You have to, I am a small business owner. And so you have to decide what you can delegate, what you can outsource, but you have to have those touching points, because people are using Google as a way to get to TikTok, and people use
the internet.
TikTok as a search engine now.
Mm-hmm.
And so if Google had to, like you just said, it had to evolve with how we as a society are evolving. People are using TikTok to go, like I am searching. My daughter is getting ready to go off to college, praise God, in 2 months. He is good. And so I am searching dorm rooms and what does dorm room look like, and how I can decorate my daughter's dorm room for college. I am using both TikTok, Instagram, and Google to figure out what it is. So when I'm searching and it comes up, TikTok comes up on the search engine for best dorm inspiration for girls, I'm going to that TikTok so that I can see what it actually physically looks like.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. And it's so funny because we're coming from different perspectives on this a little bit. I am not a TikTok girl, never downloaded it, won't use it, refuse.
What?
Don't use it. I don't want to get sucked in. I spend too much time on screens. So it's so funny because I don't care if you got a TikTok. I'm not going to look at it. But what I will do is I'll open up an Instagram reel or a YouTube short or something like that. And so I can hear people watching this now. They're literally like, what do you mean? I used to just be able to create a blog post. But here's the thing. I think that SEO and doing research on these keywords can influence your entire strategy throughout everything else, because what you're saying is you went somewhere, regardless if it's Google, regardless if it's TikTok, you're typing something in, you're typing in a query. That's an SEO keyword. So it's like keywords still matter in order to figure out what people are typing in. It's one of the only marketing aspects that we have this kind of data for. We don't really have data to figure out like how often are people searching in TikTok for this? Not yet anyways. Instagram is not a search engine. They don't have the capabilities. LinkedIn is not. So Google and SEO allows us to have this data to kind of munch on and be able to really understand our audience. And so then it comes down to, can you create a blog post where maybe you get your thoughts out, it's like organized and like whatever you want, and that can build up your brand authority, your website authority. And then you take that blog post, you take that pillar piece of content that you want to be known for, that you want to be associated with, and repurpose it. Repurposing is going to be your best friend, not reposting, but repurposing, because then it just gives signals to the search bots, to the social media bots that like you are the expert in this topic. So it's topical authority has been a thing in SEO for a very long time. Now I want you to think outside of just your blog. Now it's topical authority across the internet. And I don't know why I'm doing this for the internet, but it's like...
But it makes sense though. It does. Yes. It makes sense. It does. And you are right. It is no longer just about your blog. You have to be sending signals to Google that I'm talking about this subject on my blog. I'm talking about this subject on social media. I'm talking about Google. I liken it to how can you expect to rank if Google doesn't think you are an expert in a subject matter? How does Google determine whether or not you are an expert in a subject matter? You have to have all these chunks of things that's telling Google, I know about this. I know about this. I know about this. I know about this. And they all are interlinking to each other. So Google can says, oh, she does. She's talking about this. She's talking about it this way. She's talking about it that way. She's over here talking about it. And it's all leading back to this main subject matter.
Yep, exactly. Because think about it. When you're looking for something, most of the time you're looking for the best solution to the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And so how can we portray your website and your brand as the solution to the problem? And so I look at websites as like, this is the foundational aspect of your digital footprint, because the other thing to keep in mind is like, we don't have control over these social media platforms. So
Right.
if you only want to grow a TikTok, if you only want to grow an Instagram, it's like your website has to back this stuff up. And your website, I like to look at websites now as like training material for search and for AI. How do you
Right.
want AI to be trained on your brand, on your services, on your products, on your content, what you're an expert in? It's going to come back to your websites. Websites are foundational, and then you're linking to your social media platforms, and your social media platforms are linking back. Like, we want this to be such a cohesive
Yes.
aspect. And I know for business owners that you're literally like, there's so many things to juggle, and there is. But that's why it's so damn important for you to know your people, because you no longer have to create random pieces of content
Right.
just to like be fresh on Google. That advice is so outdated. It doesn't
Outdated.
matter
Yep.
anymore.
Yep. And I would also say too, to small business owners, that I know that they're our babies. And a lot of times I find that both small business owners and content creators, they want to create content that they want to create, not content that their audience needs. And so we have to really think about who our audience are, what do they want from us, and that we are a source of information. A lot of times we don't see ourselves as a source of information. I tell every last one of my clients, what problem are you solving?
Yep.
Or are you just regurgitating something you read on the internet?
Yeah.
And if you are regurgitating something you read on the internet and you haven't figured out how to solve a problem, then what are you really doing?
Yes. Yes, I agree. We
I
do.
think there is a disconnect between realizing that this is your baby and what you want to convey, and then realizing you have an audience that they are, whenever we pick up our phones and we start to Google something, we are looking for an answer to something.
Yep.
And are you going to be the one to answer that problem for me? Or am I going to have to back out and go and find it somewhere else because it's a whole lot of crap?
Yep. Yep. I think that that's a huge thing too, is like, we get so focused on our own perspective and
Yes.
our own business that we forget. I think that like and obviously you've heard this too, like SEO is dying. And it's like, if you think SEO is dying, you don't understand the internet, in my opinion.
Right.
Like, the SEO is so much deeper than Google. It's so much deeper than one thing. It's literally how we've been using the internet since it became a thing. I remember in elementary school using Ask Jeeves.
Yes.
Like, that's the internet. That's like what we've been using, keywords. It's how we use Amazon and eBay and Etsy. You're typing in keywords. It's how we use the internet. But I like this new phase of SEO and where it's going to be harder to bullshit. And there was a lot of like content mills,
Yes.
or just like you're saying, regurgitation of the same thing over and over again. And I think that what's going to matter even more now, like you were saying, is like, can I find a therapist that aligns with my values? Like, does your website and your digital footprint align with how you serve people? Because because search, it's so much more nuanced now,
Right.
that I can literally find a bookkeeper for creatives and small business owners that uses QuickBooks. Where if I would have typed that into Google before, it would have been like, cannot compute. I don't know. Like, I would have gotten the QuickBooks main website, and it was like, literally like, LOL, that's not what I want. I want a bookkeeper that uses QuickBooks, whatever. And it's like, so actually, if we're getting clients, if we're getting customers, we're getting traffic from these search engines, now I feel like it's going to be likely, if your website is set up correctly, they're going to be more likely to convert, because they're going to be such a good fit for you, because these AI bots and the search algorithms understand the users and the context and the perspective. And so as a user, I'm going to find better solutions. As a business owner, I'm going to get better leads.
Correct. And that is so important, that better leads, because you don't want people coming to your site, filling out your questionnaire and reaching out to you, you spending an hour of your time on someone that is not for you. They're not going to buy your product. They're not going to buy your service. You just wasted time and money for someone that you didn't even need. And so, and also, you know, we really have to think about how you are when you're using keywords. And I think a lot of businesses missed the boat on keywords. I was meeting with some local businesses here in Nashville, and none of them even had Nashville, Tennessee anywhere on their website. You're missing a whole segment of audience because you're not telling people where you are. Like, there's so much more to be done. And Google also said, we don't owe you shit. Like, literally, they said, so long, small businesses and content creators have felt that Google owed them something. And I'm not saying that Google does owe us something, because I think small business owners and content creators, we definitely help the internet. But Google is right. Their allegiance is to the users. Now, has Google messed up with some of what shows up in search? Absolutely. And they also were very clear that they tried to, I'm not going to say reverse some of what they did, but they tried to correct their overcorrection.
They mess up too.
And they mess up too. And they were very clear that they messed up. They tried to correct what they had overcorrect. And then they said people are under the assumption that they could just go in, flip a switch, and whatever they did is going to go back. And every time they go in and have an update, that it could potentially make things worse than what it was before, which is what has happened. Whether that's true or not, nobody really knows, but that is what they said.
Okay, so if we're going to go into like specifically what they said, do you have like a couple? I know that we've like been talking about this in long form, but I guess to like sum up like what Google has said about AI overviews and about getting found in search, do we have like some quick bullet points I can maybe stick with people? Because I got some comments in here that I think this is when we were talking about TikTok and social media platforms. Like, social media platforms, they each have their own audience. And so repurposing is going to be your best friend with this. And then we have another one. This conversation is simultaneously so helpful and also giving me low-key anxiety about all of the things. And so do you have just like some bullet points of like what you're focusing on, what you think business owners should focus on based on what Google said?
So AI overview is not going anywhere. And I hope that by now everyone realizes that. You know, if you're still hoping that AI overview is going to go away, let me tell you right now, it is not. And that is because people want fast information now. They want to be able to click. Is Google probably taking those AI overviews from our content? Yes, they are.
That's a conversation for a different day, y'all. Like, if we can have a full hour conversation on like how good, like how awful it is that like Google is making money based on our content and stuff like that. We don't have time to dive into that right now.
But so AI overview is not going anywhere. What I am focusing on is I myself am focusing on schema markup.
Okay.
I am trying to really make sure that my content, that Google knows what my content is about. I'm not sure if everybody here knows what schema markup is. I know that's a technical term.
It is.
For SEO people behind the scenes. It's code that goes on your back end that sort of helps Google understand what it is your website is about or what the article is about. I myself am working on schema markup and making sure that my content is answering the user query within the first 300 words, making sure that all of my images, I know we probably haven't talked about that, but a lot of times it's simple stuff that we don't do that we take for granted, like image optimization. I think those are things that can really, really help. I think that if we're honest, It's not going to go back to the way that it was.
The
And
old way of using Google was archaic, though. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like, I keep going back to that, where it's like, how many times have I gone to Google and then couldn't find what I was looking for because it wasn't picking up on the nuances?
right. And so they did not give, what they told us was, they gave us the PDF, and you probably already have it. There is an updated PDF of the Google console, not Google console. It is the Google.
Is it the user guidelines?
The user guidelines. Yes. So there is an updated, they gave us that and said, go through this user guideline with the fine tooth comb. Make sure that you know this like a Bible. They said this is what they train their developers on when they come to work for Google. This is the same tool. We were not able to take pictures of anything that we had there. We can only, take notes. We couldn't take any images. But it is what they trained their developers on. So they told us to go through that with a fine tooth comb. The reason that I really started to I was playing with schema markup before, but in this new document that they provided us with, it had a lot about schema markup. And so I took that as a signal that articles that you don't have schema markup in, you probably need to be going in, adding schema markup to your back end so that Google knows exactly what this article is about or what this page is about.
Okay, cool. That's helpful. That's really helpful. And if you guys are new and you don't know, user guidelines have been available since before I've been in SEO. I remember when I first saw them, and it literally is a breakdown of what Google uses to be able to judge these websites. And if you're a client of mine, if you're a student of mine, if you have been in any workshops, I want you to know that I pay attention to the stuff, and the things that I go deep into and that I help clients and students with are aligned with these user guidelines. I know that we are saying that, we have to consider social media now, but when it comes to your website, having a good, what I've heard you say is basically having a good, solid website matters now more than ever. And we can't overlook that with stuffing keywords and long content anymore. Having your website be fast loading, having your images be optimized, having image alt text for accessibility, which is becoming increasingly more and more important, having schema markup and using content structure appropriately. Website designers, I love you, but stop using H1, H2, and H3 headings for design purposes only. They should be for content hierarchy. And so if you're freaking out and you're just like, I have been doing SEO for a long time, and I've been trying to tweak my website, all of that stuff still matters. That is literally the foundation of this stuff. So I do want people to feel better, where it's these user guidelines are not completely shifting up everything. It's still based on user experience. Google has been judging your website on over 200 factors for years, and a lot of them are user experience. And so, to be honest, it's kind of cool to hear that so we've been on the right track. If you haven't been trying to spam people with things, and you haven't been trying to manipulate rankings with random ass content, and you've been actually trying to build a solid foundation, your momentum should continue to build if you know your people.
Yeah. And also too, I just lost my train of thought. You said something and it triggered, but it went away because I'm menopausal. And so my brain forgets very, very, very easily.
Whenever you remember, I am here.
But I think it just came back. So I think also too, with your websites, I think that like you were saying about the keyword stuffing, go and read or go to your website as if it was not yours. When I left the Google Summit, I went and I looked at 5 articles that were on my website that were my top money makers. And I read it as if I was a user, not if it was my content that I had written and it was my baby, but I went as if I was a user. And it was a hard pill to swallow. This is somebody that knows SEO, that understands SEO. And I had to say to myself, okay, girl, you got a whole lot of fucking nothing going on here. Like literally, it's 6,000 words and you ain't said shit.
Yep. Burying the lead. You're burying it. You're not giving us the answer.
And so you have to look at your own content. If you are reading it, if you were someone else and you needed to go to your website to find an answer, and you were looking for, whether you are a small business owner, whether you are a content creator, if you go to your article and you read something, are you getting the answer? And is it taking you halfway down the page for you to figure out what it is that you're looking for? If the answer is you're reading your own content and you like, damn, this is not good. And it's okay to say that. It's okay to be honest and say, I was following what Google told me to do for umpteen years, and it worked for umpteen years. That's no longer working, and we have to be able to evolve. And so at this point, I've been telling people, you're either going to evolve or you're going to say, I give up and I'm done.
Those and then Google's just going to send traffic to somebody else then.
Somebody else. Yeah. And I'm okay with that because I need mine back. But you either have to evolve and adapt and say, okay, I can no longer have a 4,000 word article. I can no longer not have my city and state. Little things that matter in your business that tell people what you are, what you do, and why they should trust you.
Yes.
Why should someone trust you versus someone else? Are you telling people why they should trust you?
Yeah. And for my business owners, this means your services pages. Having a cute services page with one paragraph on it being like, I do.
Contact me. That's it on their service page is a contact me form. I don't know you.
Yes, truly. I think that we forget when you want to get cold traffic from the internet. These people are coming to you. They are not walking into your boutique. They ain't shaking your hand. They're not getting to know you. They found you, have no idea who you are. And so when we're talking about blog posts, don't add fluff. And I think that bloggers have been uniquely trained to do this because of like what Google said, where my business owners have been so resistant to that, where they're like, yeah, I wrote 200 words for this blog post. And I was like, you don't even, I don't even know if the answer is in there at all. And so like we need to find a thing in the middle where it answers the question in a way that feels supportive and helpful. And if you're like, how do I do that? You have to know your people. And so that's why I bring up services pages, because if I'm looking for like a wedding photographer near me or something like that, if you just have one paragraph on your wedding photography services page, I'm sorry, girl, but like, I'm not hiring you because I don't know the process. I don't know the investment. I have no idea who you are, why I should trust you. You were just a stranger on the internet. And so we have to keep this in mind that like that's why everything to me always comes back to the website, even social media. Like if you like these people that you're finding on social media, if you're a researcher like me, so I know that I'm a very specific type of buyer. I don't usually buy from people from social media. I have to go to their website, take a look at all of their pages. I am a researcher, in-depth person, which is probably why I love SEO. But it's like, I need to feel like I know you, like you, and trust you on your website. And that's like, that services page has to portray that to me. Otherwise, I'm not going to convert. I'm going to find somebody that does kind of like fit that need for me. And so it's like, as a business owner specifically, I know that you're like super good in your industry and you feel really, really excited about what you do, but like you have to portray that on the internet, your digital footprint, like you're saying, where it's like, does your social media profile support your expertise? Does your website, your services pages, your homepage, does all of this support what the hell you want to be known for?
And with the services page too, I think that is a good place to add somatic keywords. And for people that you, instead of using wedding photographer in Nashville as the only word that you're using
17 times,
you only have wedding photographer Nashville, bridal parties, bridal photography, all of these different words that mean the same thing, but it's telling Google that I can do a vast array of things versus I'm just a photographer in Nashville. How else are you? Because if you don't put the words on your page, Google won't know.
AI bots won't know. Yep.
AI bots won't know. You have to have semantic keywords, which are words that are similar to the main word that you have to tell Google, I am a wedding photographer. I am a, I don't know, prom photographer. You know, I am whatever, all of these different things that you are. I'm not a photographer, so I'm like making it up off the top of my head. But you have to tell Google that you are all of these different things.
Yeah, that's where I think people get keywords mixed up. They think that it's just something to repeat over and over and over again. And it's not. We have to use the key. If you want to show up for the keyword, you don't have to use the exact phrase like you're saying, but you have to still give context clues. So it's like AI is incredible for picking up on nuances and picking up on patterns, but you still have to give the context of things. It can't come into your brain and know what you're incredible at. You still have to build out this page. And for my clients and my students, that's what I talk about when I'm doing secondary keywords. Like we outline secondary keywords where it's like this page is still a perfect solution to these different keywords. And we will naturally use these words in the site. So we're not repeating the same thing over and over and over and over again. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like that's kind of what Google wanted to get across to you guys was like, we have to pay more attention to the user. And I do think that like, that's the way that SEO has been going, in my opinion. The old practices, like when people are saying SEO is dead, they're talking about them old practices. I saw a website, girl. Somebody used their keyword in the same text color as their background so that they could, I was like, that is a tactic.
They were trying to trick Google.
Yep.
Or I used to see it in white. They used to put the keywords in white and hoping that it would, so it would, your stuffing, you wouldn't see it on the page.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's like 2005 SEO. We are done. We are over with that. Know your people. It's no longer about quantity of people. That's why I think bloggers are getting hit so bad, because a lot of your income was based on like the quantity of people that were showing up on your blog so that you could serve ads to them.
Right.
It's going in a quality direction. And as a business owner, that means more qualified leads if you can build up this foundation in a way that supports you.
And people are mad that Google has decided that, and again, people were saying, well, Google lied to me. Google lied to me. They told me to do this. And I don't think that Google lied. I think that search has changed.
Yep.
And I think if you take your personal feelings out of it, because yes, we all were, and I'm not going to say we all, I'm going to say, a great amount of people, we were doing what Google said to do. And it is not that Google lied. People change. And when people change, you have to adapt. And so Google changed the way what shows up in search now. And I'm not saying that it was, and I told the story in the article that I wrote right before that update happened. We had been seeing little sprinkles of these core updates happening here and there and there. And I kept saying, man, I need to diversify my traffic. I am solely relying on Google. I am getting 200,000-300,000 page views a month, and I am getting 10,000 page views from Pinterest. You need to be working on diversifying your traffic. But I was comfortable with Google. I was comfortable with keywords. I understood keywords. I knew where to place them. I was checking those boxes off like no tomorrow. And if I wrote something, it would be ranking within 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah.
I was like, I know my shit.
Yeah.
And then Google said, no, you don't.
And then you look back and you're like, I know. Oh, sad girl. Sad girl looking at this now.
And you have to be honest with yourself about what it is that we are doing as business owners. If you can't be honest and say, I was wrong, now I need to correct what I was doing, which was wrong, then you aren't going to survive.
Yep. And I think we have to take into consideration that like us as the user, we're changing the internet. Yes. These solutions and the way that these tools are using. They're collecting data, and we are evolving fast because as users, we're changing our patterns and they're trying to keep up. And I know that all of this can feel a little defeating when you're listening to it, but to me, I get excited. To me, I'm like, we are literally on the cutting edge of technology. We are creating the internet. How we use the internet is literally forcing these tech companies and these tech tools to figure things out. Now, I am not talking about like the shady stuff that they're doing and all of that. Like there are things that they are doing that are not okay on so many different levels. But if I'm staying in the optimistic realm, it's cool because like as users, we are changing the way that technology is evolving. And so if you're confused or you're just like, I don't know what to do to get found, go to Google and use it. How are you using it? Take note of what's catching your eye. What are you clicking on? What are you avoiding? Head over to people's websites. What are you like, I would not pay this person, or, I want whatever they're selling. Take note as a user what is working, because gonna let the cat out of the bag here, but us SEO people, that's like half of what we do is like moving backwards. We're pattern recognition. We are like finding the gaps, and we are essentially taking a look at what's working and then moving backwards from there. And so it's like, if you can look at these things and be able to notice what the difference is, you're going to be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like it's very logical and very literal in my opinion. But I do have a question. Did they mention AI mode at all? Because like us people in the US, we now have access to Google's new AI mode that just got released like a couple days ago. Essentially, I can only use it on my personal Gmail account. I can't use it on my paid one yet, but I was curious if they mentioned anything in terms of AI mode.
They did not mention the AI mode. So no, they did not mention AI mode. The only thing that they really talked about, because everybody was trying to figure out, AI, what does that mean to the user? The only concrete thing that they said about AI was that AI overview wasn't going anywhere. They were very clear on that. They would not answer questions regarding AI pulling from websites to create the overview.
Interesting.
So I personally inquired about that.
Yeah.
And I will say that I kind of felt like the question was answered, but it wasn't answered. It was kind of like danced around.
Yeah.
And so there wasn't a clear answer on where the AI overview was pulling from, but that was all it was really more tactical and what we should be doing and what we aren't doing currently and what we need to be doing.
Okay, that makes sense. It also makes sense that they kept saying that AI overviews aren't going anywhere, because like in the back of their mind, they're like, they ain't going nowhere because our whole fucking search thing is about to be AI mode.
It's about to be AI, right?
Yeah.
So they really steered clear of the AI questions. They answered them, but like in a I'm playing football kind of. They answered them.
Look over there, like yes.
So what I took away from it is that I really need to be very intentional about semantic keywords. I need to be intentional about making sure that those keywords that are outside of the main keyword, the secondary and the third category of keywords, that they are throughout the content as well. It's not just the main keyword, and making sure that schema markup is in the back end of your content so that Google can say. And they also talked about, which is another thing, I don't know if anybody has lost Google Discover traffic. I have. I used to get a ton of Google Discover traffic. I have not gotten Google Discover traffic in probably about 8 months now. It went completely off my Google console. It doesn't even show up anymore. But they gave us a PDF document for Google Discover traffic, which I have not delved into that yet because I'm doing the other homework first. but they did talk about not relying on Google Discover traffic and why it's important not to rely on that. So
Okay.
that was another little thing that they talked about, was the Google Discover traffic.
Okay. Very
And again,
interesting.
it went back to, don't rely on Google for all of your traffic. Really, they kept saying, we don't owe you Google Discover traffic, and we don't owe you traffic. And they were very clear about not relying on Google Discover, because then you're going to be mad saying, I lost 80% of my traffic because I was getting all of this Google Discover traffic.
Yeah. Okay. It is interesting. I've messed around with AI mode a little bit, and they are doing awful at putting links to recommend where they are getting information from. So that's going to be really interesting to see how they take care of that. And as a user, it will go ahead and recommend like ChatGPT search, except it will recommend, like if I look up, let's just say like top SEO consultants, I don't think that I'm getting pulled in there, but if I was, it like wasn't even pulling in my website, when like as a user, I'd be like, yo, if y'all are recommending me, I want to be able to check her website. So as a user, I would like to be able to access who they're recommending to kind of back up the overview that they're essentially giving. And so it's going to be interesting to see. I know that they are just slowly rolling it out. It's going to be interesting to see how that happens. Hopefully they get better at links. They do have like the links on the right-hand side, like they were having in the AI overviews, but like with the specific answers, they don't have links. And like, that's just strange to me from a user experience perspective. But
do you think that people are going to use the AI mode more than the regular Google? Do you think users even really see that, and that they're going to that when they are searching?
It's going to be the main option. So it's going to be the main screen that you go when you type into like Google. It's not right now, but it's going to be like,
mine isn't. Okay.
Yeah, it's going, not right now. They're slowly rolling it out so that like we can kind of play around with it. But it's going to be eventually the main screen. So right now, like the standard traditional page with the blue links is still what you're going to see. And it's still going to be available in a top navigation menu where it says all at the top. So you can see it. So to be honest, it's going to be really interesting to be able to see, as me as a user, how many times do I just go, screw this, and head over to the all like I'm used to? Or do I try to train the AI, like train the Google kind of AI bot? I think that it's going to be interesting, but I did find myself, like I said, when I was playing around, getting very frustrated that it wasn't giving me the links. Like I said, I am a researcher to my core. Mariah Research Magazine. Like that's basically what I do. And like, I was so unsatisfied when they didn't give me links for me to go deeper into my rabbit hole. So it's going to be interesting. And they also right now don't have a way in Google Search Console for us to be able to see who's coming from AI mode and who's coming from straight up Google. So like they're going to have to add that information in, because now they're saying, you know, you're going to get more people from this. And it's like, well, how are you going to know that if we can't track it?
Right. So like I'm Googling something now, and
we are doing it live, fam. We are doing it live.
So if I go to AI mode, it gave me only 2 sites that it's linking to.
Yep.
And it doesn't have the complete,
It's super interesting, isn't it?
And then it says, please know AI responses may include mistakes.
That's half the thing. It's kind of like, okay, well, if this AI is a liar, I want to be able to support the information, which, while you're watching this is why having your website, having good, solid information, not outdated information, good, solid information on your website, having a good homepage, an about page, services pages, your website is training these AI bots. I'm looking directly into the camera because this is so damn important. Your website is training these AI bots. Create content and create pages accordingly. That is like so important that I want to scream it from the rooftops, because people are going to want more information, especially for business owners when people are looking to hire or they're looking to buy something. We need to know what we're doing. AI is just like it's like surface level. It's
Right.
top of the funnel type thing. So we
Like
have to
very
keep
top,
this in,
and that's it.
we have to keep this in mind. And we do have one question here. So are there any additional tips or notes for e-commerce websites? I can definitely extrapolate what you're saying to e-commerce, especially since I blog, but just curious if there's anything unique to e-com. Do you have anything to add here?
I think with ecom, as I was saying earlier, I think semantic keywords is definitely going to be what everybody needs to be focusing on. We've been talking about keywords a lot, and I think people miss the boat on making sure that those other terms, that Google understands what your e-commerce site is about, and that you're not just honing in on that one topic that your e-commerce site is about. Google needs to be able to understand using various keywords so that it knows you are an expert in whatever your site is about. It can't be, days are gone where you can a keyword and focus on one keyword. You have to be able to really show that you are an expert in your subject matter.
Yep. Yeah, I think that that's really important. I think connecting keywords to specific products. I think bunching products together that have variations, like having breadcrumbs, having filters on the side for your e-commerce shop. Think about your user experience. I know that you think that
user experience, but you really don't.
Yes, it's that, but it's also like when it's your own site, you're too close to it and you might not know how to implement these things, but making it so damn easy to be able to navigate, making sure that you are connecting keywords to collection pages. My e-commerce shops, y'all don't even pay attention to your category and your collection pages, but those are gold mines when it comes to being able to show those in search. So those pages are going to be able to be found in AI. It's the same thing with Shopify. If you have Shopify set up, Shopify and ChatGPT search, they have a connection. So products are getting pulled in here. How does ChatGPT search know what your product is about? It's the keywords, it's your product title, it's the description, it's the context that you're adding on these pages. Make sure that you have product schema set up. Make sure that you have your Google Merchant Center set up, which I will say it used to just be for paid shopping. You can now with Google Merchant Center in the past year or two, you can have it even if you're not running ads to your product. So making sure that you have that set up, that is easier to keep up to date. When the SEO of your e-com website is up to date, they can basically funnel into each other. So hopefully that makes sense. I know that we literally just word vomited probably 3 months worth of work. But it's foundational stuff. It's SEO foundational stuff that's going to be very, very important. And having these different data streams like Google Merchant Center and having Shopify set up correctly and all of that. So hopefully that answers that question.
And I like what you said about, we as business owners, we're sensitive about our business. And I think that, we are too close to it and we don't want to hear constructive criticism. In this world of everybody is a hater, everybody is not a hater. Sometimes we are telling you what you probably don't want to know or hear, but it is for your own good. I think now when people give constructive criticism, it is always met with, oh, they hating or they are hater. But we have to sit back and say, okay, does she know more than I do? And should I listen? And again, if you do your research and you know who you're dealing with, so if you know Mariah, she knows her shit, then you're going to listen and you're not going to feel like your business is being attacked because she is telling you, okay, this probably doesn't look right. It doesn't flow right. You don't have a good user experience here. And so how are you going to provide people what they need and what they want if you don't have a good user experience instead of taking it personally?
Yep, exactly. Because listen, I think when you meet professionals that really, really are passionate, I feel like me and you are about what we do and helping people, it's we want the people with good hearts and good intentions to win.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, this isn't, I know the community over competition gets thrown out a lot, but like, that's why I'm interested in interviewing other SEO people. You have different experience than I do. And
Right.
like, it's not about attacking. It's about like really making the internet a better place for ourselves, for our children, for the internet, for other business owners. You know how many times I have heard of business owners getting taken advantage of by agencies and stuff like that. And like, so we're not saying this stuff to overwhelm you, but we want y'all to be informed. We
Right.
want you to know, because the internet is changing quickly. And so I know that a lot of this might be overwhelming, but hopefully it's actionable, it's practical. You're just like, I feel like we've gone down so many different rabbit holes, and it's like, you don't have to do everything right now. This can be your 6-month thing, one baby step at a time. I tell my clients, like, listen, SEO is not an all or nothing thing. It is also not about perfection. 1 hour a week can build and can help you get results. It can help you show up in AI. It can help you show up on Google. All of that stuff. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, 1 step at a time.
And I will say this too, that most people get overwhelmed because you don't see instant results from SEO. And there's a book that I'm not currently reading, but I do this every 12 weeks. It's called The 12-Week Year. I don't know. Have you heard of that book, Mariah, The 12-Week Year?
I have not.
It's called The 12-Week Year, and piggybacking off of what you just said, don't try to do everything at one time. This book, The 12-Week Year, it talks about taking one thing and you work on it for 12 weeks. And at the end of that 12 weeks, then you start something else. You don't have to go in tomorrow and try to overhaul your entire website, because you will get overwhelmed and you're going to say, forget it. I can't do this. It's too hard.
Yeah.
You're going to take one thing. So if you're going to work on your About Me page or your services page, take that one thing and say, for the next 12 weeks, I'm going to work on my services page. What does that look like for you to work on your services page? It might just be only getting your copy. Take the next 12 weeks and get your copy together for your services page. That's it. Make sure you have your keywords, you have your secondary keywords, you have it built out. Go look at your competitor's website and see what their services page look like. What are they offering that you may not be offering? Go and do that for the next 12 weeks, and that's it. Then the following 12 weeks, how am I going to implement this copy that I just took the last 12 weeks working on and putting that on my page? You don't have to do everything at one time.
Yes. Yeah, I love that perspective. And I feel like a lot of people will be like, but SEO moves so fast. After 12 weeks, everything's going to change. No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not. We have been lied to. It does not change that often. The updates and everything change based on user experience. So if you are implementing SEO best practices based on the foundations of having a good website, having solid user experience, knowing your people, it's not changing like that. It's changing in terms of like people trying to manipulate the algorithm.
Yes.
And so when you take steps to build sustainability for your website, for your services pages, take the time, find the keywords, because people are like, well, don't I need a new keyword? No, stop it. When you find a damn keyword that you like and people are searching for it, stick with that keyword. And then we can start building brand authority, domain authority, all of these different authorities around these keywords. You become an expert. Like, I didn't get into SEO yesterday. You didn't get into travel blogging and SEO yesterday. We've been around doing these things, and that's how we're getting known. We're becoming experts, is we're really like taking the time to build this stuff. So don't think that SEO is changing every 3 seconds. It's not. Things are evolving, but they're all based on giving the users what they want. And in order to do that, you have to be the best solution to the problem. And in order to do that, you have to fucking know who your people are. You just do. I love y'all, but y'all got to know your people.
And to me, I really find out people really don't. They are trying to be everything to everybody. They are, creating their websites based on this whole group of people out here. Figure out who it is that you want to service, and then where are they? Where are those people that you want to service? How do you reach them? How do you connect with them? How do they feel like they can relate to you? We're missing the human experience when it comes to building our websites. And I think people are longing for human connectivity now.
Yes.
And so how can you reach those people that way?
Yep. Amen. It's so funny because before we hit record, I was like, I don't know, maybe we'll just do like a half hour. LOL. And I'm just like, I think we're chatty people here. I think that we are chatty. Okay. So we have one more question and then we're going to close this down. So how about when you're working on a relatively new niche and there's not much search volume for it, like some fringe AI solutions? Should search volume be a concern?
You know, I think first of all, I think there's two different questions here. Is there an audience for what you want? I think sometimes we want things to be, and so there may not be an audience for what it is, the thing that you want. And so you have to come to grips with that. And it may be an audience, but a lot of times when we have these keyword search tools, they tell us whether or not that is a viable option or not.
Yep.
And if it's not a viable option, even though you want it to be, why are you wasting your time creating content, writing content, creating a business around something, I'm sorry to say this, that nobody wants? That's why keyword is so important, because it tells us whether or not that is a viable business.
I think, and yes, I agree. And I do think that there's some context here. So it seems like she wants to show up for something. Fringe AI solutions, it seems like it is maybe a new thing with AI. AI is new. I don't know what fringe AI solutions is.
Can I Google what is fringe AI solutions?
Yes. And so that's what I would do, is talk to people that would be interested in this. Are they knowing that phrase or not? Or are they not even problem aware yet? So like, consider where you want to hit them in the SEO funnel, because we can hit people at different aspects of the buyer journey. Of like, are they problem aware? Are they solution aware? Are they neither? And now they're just searching like, what can an SEO consultant do for me? Those people aren't ready for me yet, but they're getting there. So it depends. We need more context when it comes to this. I think that you can hit new niches, especially in the AI realm, but you have to know what these people are searching for in different phases of the buyer journey. How you're going to figure that out, you have to talk with your people.
So I'm going to ask a question here. Is it the intuitive idea behind genetic search algorithm given a graph, a set of start nodes, is to incrementally explore paths from start nodes? Is that what that is?
I don't know, but she did comment here and said, by fringe AI, I mean a solution that isn't too mainstream, but you raise very valid points. Okay. So yeah, I think us maybe not knowing what it is kind of helped her be like, maybe people aren't using the word fringe, but they are using AI solutions. So maybe I'm searching for AI solutions for copywriting, AI solutions for bookkeeping. Like, I'm brand new to this. I understand AI, but I don't even know what my solutions are. But I wouldn't use the word fringe. To me, I thought fringe AI solutions, I'm like, is that for a dressmaker who's trying to make fringe for a bikini that she's making? I don't know.
Keyword research is important, because fringe is taking a whole nother meaning to AI solutions, which is something you probably didn't want. So you have to even do your Google research yourself. What comes up when you search? Sometimes we want to make terms like too important or too, and that's not what regular people are searching for. Sometimes we want to sound way more important and influential than we need to, and then you miss the whole point of what a keyword and what people are searching for.
Yes, I always say that SEO is so damn literal that it's painful. It's so painful. It's so painful. Oh my God. It literally is wedding photography packages, Buffalo, New York. It's not creative, light and airy photographer that's gonna make me look like a magazine model, which that's what I want. I do want to look light and airy and look like I belong on the cover of a magazine, but I'm going to type in wedding photographer, Buffalo, New York, and then I'm going to check out your portfolio to see
Right.
if your vibe matches my vibe. So SEO is very literal. Hopefully that example made sense, but we have some people listening, need some help with an e-com site, but we're hitting so many points. Do more lives, please. We thank you so much. This is so fun. That's it for comments. Tamiko, is there anything else that we want to say before we kind of close this bad boy down? You have any follow-up points? Wrap this baby up with a bow?
I think that my biggest takeaway from the Google Summit and just from where SEO is going in general is what we've just hit on, which is user experience, answering the user query, finding what the pain point is of your user, and answering that question as quickly as possible. I think we've gotten so far away from what our users want and what SEO was originally intent to mean. We fell into this fluff and let's make it longer and let's worry about word count and let's worry about, putting a keyword in the first sentence, putting a keyword.
Do it for the algorithm.
Doing it for the algorithm. I think we got away from really what people, you and I, what our audience wants, and we really were writing for the algorithm and from Google. And I think that it is a good thing, even though I was hurt so bad by the Google updates, but I really believe it is a good thing to get back to the basics. And that is, what do people want? How can we answer those questions? And how are we being a service to our users? What pain points are we answering? And are we answering them in a timely manner? I think that was the overall takeaway. Stop all of this 5,000, 6,000 words, understand who your users are and write for them. I think that to me was the biggest takeaway, that I said, you know what? Google is right. If I'm honest, Google is right. All the other stuff that they are doing may be whatever. That's a whole nother show, like you said, we can talk about. But on the basis, what Google said was, everyone is writing for the algorithm and they're writing to rank, and nobody is answering the user query.
Yep. And they've been saying that. As a user, we've noticed that. So yeah, I think that that's an incredible recap. Can you give people an overview where they can find you? So we're going to have your website right up there. Give us an overview. LinkedIn, Instagram, where are you?
Yes, find me, my website. I'm a travel influencer. I travel all over. I do mostly solo travel, even though I have a husband and kids. So if you need some travel inspiration, hit me up. I am on Instagram at Tomiko.Harvey. I am on TikTok at Tomiko.Harvey. I'm on LinkedIn at Tomiko Harvey. So find me on all of the places. I am, my website, my SEO website is TomikoHarvey.com. So I am on all places. I am A/B testing. I am doing a lot of, since I left, I am doing A/B testing. So I will follow up with you to let you know what has worked, what isn't worked. I am taking 6-7 posts, different posts, and I'm A/B testing them to see what's going to work, what is not going to work. And then hopefully, we'll figure some stuff out.
Yeah. I'm sure that our listeners that are here with us live and the ones that are going to watch the recording, I'm sure they're going to be really curious about that. So yes,
and
please.
Everybody else A/B test their own sites as well. A/B testing you can't know what's going to work if you don't try different things. A lot of people are afraid to test and try. What's the least? You're not going to really break anything. You just reverse what you did. Nobody is really ranking anyway right now. So what is it going to matter?
Oh yeah. Oh man. Yes. I agree. Test, tweak. I like to say life is a very big experiment. We're all just in Earth school. To be honest, we're all just dicking around trying to see what works. It's the same thing with SEO. It's the same thing with marketing. We can strategize, but we have to get in there. We have to experiment. We have to test. We have to see what's happening. And so, yes, I will leave all of the links to Tomiko's social media and her website, all of the fun stuff in the video description box below. You can connect with her over on Threads too. We've chatted a couple times on Threads. That's actually how we got connected, was over on Threads. And so I think that's it. I'm just going to do my my little spiel here. And so y'all, if you want to learn more about SEO from me, you can go ahead and let's see if this will work here. You can go ahead and sign up for my newsletter. So I do create a weekly newsletter, Building Momentum. We got over 2,500 people over on the newsletter. Some of you watching are probably from the newsletter. What's up? Hi. I send out a weekly newsletter that kind of goes into one main tip that you can do every week for your SEO. And I'm going to be breaking down the different things that I'm learning with AI. And I always try to make it actionable, make it practical. As you can tell by the way that I break things down, I don't try to talk about SEO like I'm a website developer. I really do try to break it down so everybody can understand the goal of my entire business. I'm not an agency. I don't have ongoing done-for-you retainers. I'm a pop-in and a pop-out girl. Like, I prefer consulting and education, and all of my options at the end of the day are to help you take SEO into your own hands. That's what I want. The more that you understand the foundations, the easier you can tweak. I don't care if that's training you, your VA, your marketing team. I'm here for it. So if you want to learn more about me, definitely go to mariahmagazine.com/subscribe, sign up for that newsletter. And then another shout out about our sponsor here, MemberVault. They are an incredible course and membership digital product platform. I have been using them for my own digital products. I am moving all of my stuff, like I said, over from Kajabi to MemberVault. They have this thing where it's like the binge and the buy setup type thing. So you can have a shop where all of your things are. And then when people find you, you can have free things up there. So you can host your freebies on MemberVault. Then when people are in your freebies, you can turn on this option to have products showcased down below. And so it allows people to really get into your ecosystem. So kind of like we were talking about SEO and your brand ecosystem, MemberVault is incredible for creating a like content digital product ecosystem for your content, for your education, which I love focusing on education and products specifically. So that's why MemberVault is an incredible option for me. You can use the code Mariah to go ahead and get 1 month free of any plan. They also have like lifetime plans too. That's what I snagged. I have the lifetime unlimited plan. And so I can have as many products as I want. I can have free, I can have paid, I can have memberships, I can have courses, I can have whatever I want. And I only had to pay once. Okay. So keep that in mind. If you're tired of the monthly payments for different options, check out MemberVault. Go to mariahmagazine.com/ where is the cute little banner that I have /MV25. That's going to redirect you over to this page so you can learn more about MemberVault, why I love it, why they're incredible. Thank you so much, MemberVault, for sponsoring this live. I love the team. Oh God, I could literally like talk for 45 minutes about how much I truly love the company. Okay, but that's it, y'all. That's it. Sign up for the newsletter. Thanks so much for being here. If you're watching the replay, definitely comment below. Let me know what you liked, what you learned, what you want another YouTube live on. I'm going to have some other ones scheduled throughout the summer, so I can't wait to do this again. And I will see you later. Bye.